Hi everyone. My name is Paolina and I am the co-host of Afro Anime Initiative. Today, or whenever you decide to watch this, I am doing a review of episode 1 of Carole and Tuesday. Now, we all know that this was a show that is produced and created by Shinichirō Watanabe, also the creator of the well-known Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo and Space Dandy, along with Bones Animation. So off the bat, we already know, like, okay, it's gonna be a good show, like, no doubt about that. Number two, the story itself takes place in the same universe as Cowboy Bebop on Mars in the same city, and if I'm not mistaken, it takes place a year after the events of the Cowboy Bebop movie Knocking on Heaven's Door. If you haven't seen that movie, please go and see it right now. Just stop this video and go and see that movie. I even have a copy of it. If you want to borrow it, let me know. Or you can see it online. I'm not sure where, but just go and see it. It's fantastic. So, we already know that what is Mars, what is the culture of Mars from Cowboy Bebop, but we also get to see a whole new perspective through the eyes of many different characters, interestingly enough. And, it doesn't only solely focus on both Tuesday and Carole, but you also have other players, in this story that contribute to their growth as musicians and just other musicians and other producers and creators and just, you know, what exactly entails in the music industry. So, what I'm going to start off with, again, this is only the review of the first episode. It's not going to be very long, maybe 5 minutes or so. The first episode is essentially, an introduction to some of the characters. We get to see more of them in the second episode, but we start off the episode with. Before I start that, I'm sorry. Actually, I just want to comment on the animation real quick. So clean. Like if you saw Violet Everdeen, that's the name. It's the same type of animation. Like it's so clean, it's so beautiful, and it's just aesthetic. The voice acting is stellar. I watched it in the sub, the Japanese sub. I will rewatch the whole series in the dubbed because for me it's worth doing that. It's that good. Yes, I binge watched the entire first part on Netflix. I didn't sleep, so it's that good for me. But yeah, the animation is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. So you will really, your eyes will definitely get a treat. It's very smooth, and there's just this really really fun flow with it, not just with the animation, but just how you see characters interact with each other. So we start the episode off with um, Tuesday Simmons. As you will later learn, she is actually the daughter of a prominent politician, and we'll learn more about that later. But it starts off with her running away from home with her really cool like pink suitcase AI. It just rolls by itself. Like I know we have suitcases like that already, but it's like advanced. It's super cool. Let me shut up. Yeah, so it starts off with her running away from home, and of course you can tell off the bat she's running away from home from a mansion. Okay, so two, she's like probably sheltered her entire life, and she felt like nobody understood her passion for music, and she decides to leave with her Gibson acoustic guitar, gorgeous thing. She named it Hummingbird. It's adorable. Oh my god! And she manages to hop on a train and make it to the city, where she gets her suitcase stolen like almost immediately because she didn't keep an eye on her stuff. She's never been to the big city before, which is understandable, poor thing. But she, she kind of wanders around, and at the same time, we're introduced to Carole Stanley, and we see that she lives by herself. They're both of the same age, about 17 years old. She lives on her own. She has like multiple jobs, but she's like fired from all of them for, you know, when you're in the service industry, you can be fired for a number of reasons. and you're shown just how difficult it can be to maintain these jobs without, feeling like trash. So there's that. You also see that she plays her keyboard on a bridge every day or after work or whenever she can, and she already has this melody for their first song, for her and Tuesday's first song together. Now they do meet towards the end of the first episode. They do meet by chance, where Tuesday's still wandering around, and she comes across Carole humming and playing the melody of her music, and she's like, "Oh my god, that's so beautiful. We have to play music together, like just like that." And I guess the essential theme here is they're two girls from two very different worlds, and they're both missing something in their lives, and when they meet they realize that, hey, we can make this work. And they start working together. Just literally the first night they continue to compose that song that Carole started to work on. And by episode 2 you get to hear, I don't want to say the full product, but you get to hear more of it. And honestly, it's just one of the very few songs that has put me to tears. It's so beautiful. Anyways, in the same episode you're introduced to Angela Carpenter, who is this child star turned model. She's about 16 years old and she wants to become a singer. Now, the way she does it with the support of her mother, Dahlia, I believe her name is. And you'll notice right away that Dahlia is a trans woman. It's really, really interesting. Like, off the bat that the whole thing about diversity with Watanabe's works is right there. Like, it doesn't skimp on the details and stuff like that. It doesn't go deep in their backstories because, it's still the first episode. Even in the first part, you still learn bits and pieces as the story goes along at a reasonable pace, which is nice. But you are aware of, key characteristics of different characters. So with Angela and her mom, you could tell off the bat that there's a sort of tension between them. Kind of this pressure for Angela to remain relevant. And because, her mom expressed that, hey, I used to be a child star, but then I faded into obscurity and I don't want that for you. And Angela's like, yeah, I know, whatever. And it kind of makes you go, what's going on there? So she kind of, not kind of, but they arranged this partnership with a AI music producer named Tao. Now, when I say AI music, I mean that in this future on Mars, a lot of big hits, a lot of pop songs are produced by AI technology. Actual singers are involved, but a lot more times, or more often than not, you hear a huge hit on the radio or wherever produced by AI. Now, with this type of technicality, you see that it hits all the right notes, all the right parts to what makes a good chart topper, but there's no emotion behind it because it's machine essentially. And Tao, you get to see how he prefers working with machine than he does with humans, which, I mean, honestly is understandable. I get it. I don't want to be around people either. But you get to see that dynamic between the differences, if that makes sense. Excuse me. Throughout the first part of the story, and it's just really interesting to just keep in mind just how advanced human beings are in terms of technology, but at the same time are still, I don't know how to put it, but there's still like a certain like heart to something that a human being produces with their own blood, sweat, and tears. So the show, it's like I said, the first episode is a good Is a good setting for, you know, what's to come. The narration is by this character named Gus Goldman, who was involved in the music industry but kind of fell out after a while. You'll see him in the first episode, but he doesn't have that much of a role yet until episode 2, and you'll see more of that later. Um, Otherwise, it's a good show. It has a good start. It has a lot of promise. Again, it's Watanabe. Like, and another really cool thing about this whole show is that it brings in a lot of really good musical talent, like Flying Lotus. Freaking Flying Lotus is a part of this. Like, what? When I heard that, it's like, it's another cool thing is that there are a lot of Easter eggs from different shows, not just the obvious, such as like the currency, which is Wulong's, but and you know the city that they're in, Mars, so on and so forth. But also you'll see like Easter eggs from like Space Dandy, too, which is super cool. And another really cool thing before I go off, um, the title cards. Each episode title is the title of a song, and it's like the form of a record player. Like the first episode is called True Colors by Cyndi Lauper, sung again by I think Genesis or Phil Collins. I don't remember. Please correct me which part of his career he sang that song. But yeah, it expresses or it shows that each card title is, you know, the theme of the episode. And Tuesday is a huge fan of Cyndi Lauper. So there you go. That's one. Two, there's also like just references to so many different artists that Carole and Tuesday have heard of and have not at the same time. So it's like, again, weird generational differences, and it just again makes me go, oh my god, I cannot believe they don't know who that is. um, so please check out, just check the show out. Put your foot in. It's a Watanabe production show, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you for joining me on this long review. It was a very long, but I'm Paolina, co-host of Afro Anime Initiative. Please join us, join the initiative, check out our other content. Um, we got a lot of content to show you in the near future. The episode 2 review should be coming out sometime by the end of the weekend or early next week. So stay tuned. Interact with us if you need to, if you want to, or just do it. We would love to hear from you, your thoughts, and not just only on, well, you know, what we're doing, but on the show itself, and engage with us. All right. Thank you so much, and take care. Bye.